and welcome back to episode 6 of Sweden and Victoria 3. So it has been about 7 days since I've even touched this save. I did record all those episodes ahead of time, and I've learned a lot about the game in the meantime. In the little bit of free time that I have had where I could play, I've been mostly playing Victoria 3, so I've learned quite a bit about the game. So this is going to be a little bit of an interesting experiment because I'm kind of picking up from a save where I knew very little. I recorded this not long after I got the game and had not played very much. So we're currently building a motor industry and a chemical plant in the Aruba States. Well, I am noticing I have very little construction process. I could build more of that. I can't get myself better stuff. Something that's really painful is my income. I'm losing a lot of money. I'm going to throw a tax on coffee to help out. My military wages are low. I'm also playing on the older version, so military wages being low isn't too penalizing for me. I could also drop my government wages, which would help me save a little bit of money. Politically, the intelligentsia, they're unhappy. So that's definitely going to cause some issues. I was conquering some land and colonizing down here in Africa. Just trying to expand my market a little bit and everything, but my primary focus is going to be to form Scandinavia. So I could probably do that if I attack like Schleswig. And I'm just going to go for a conquer state play. It's going to cause issues with a bunch of countries. But I should be able to pull this off, I think. I am going to mobilize my general and get him on this border right away. Hopefully, nobody jumps in. Hopefully. So we're expanding our chemical plants in the Aruba States. Market-wise, we need luxury furniture, we need coal and engines pretty badly, and glass. So let's build some more coal mines. I could switch up to a condensing engine. I think I will. I think I should do that probably for all my mines. Even though some of them are going to cost money, I think that's going to be helpful. And then I'm just going to max out that mine. We'll also build ourselves... Let's upgrade our glassworks. We'll build like 2 more of those. And then we also needed... What was the last thing we were looking at? Motor industry was the major thing. So I did start building it. Oh, I thought I saw something we could upgrade. Never mind. We'll probably build some more... I'm going to kind of spread this around the country. But yeah, we are not in the best shape. Are we trying to push through any laws? We're not. And laws, I think I was really screwed. Oh no, we are pushing through National Guard. I think that's fine. Might as well. We'll see if we can get it through. No one else has joined into the diplomatic play yet. So I also have no infamy, so it could be worthwhile to conquer the state of Denmark from Denmark. The state of Denmark from Denmark? I guess that has been renamed Denmark. Okay, that's fine. Denmark's not even scary. Language and classroom. Sure, let's try and assimilate some pops. I mean, I could really try and push this war a little bit. Could go for like Iceland and Greenland. I don't think so though. I think I just want to get the one more state so that I can try and form Scandinavia. Yeah, I don't even think I want to push for war reps. No, we'll just take it. They'll probably give it to us. We are significantly stronger than them. Oh, they didn't? Okay. That is fine by me. Is he going to jump down here now? Yeah, he is. Okay. Self-sabotage. Yeah, we're definitely struggling economically. Let's go ahead and naval invade Iceland. Oh, sorry about that. I did not mean to. I should have muted my mic. The use of force is warranted. Well, we can improve the arms industry, or the armories. We can improve the army, that's for sure. Their opinion, their influence, whatever it's called. Their approval. There we go, their approval. I just recorded my EU4 videos, so I'm a little out of sorts at the moment. Why pay when we own the newspaper? Okay, there we go. So we got that. So we should be able to come here. Wait, was that really not one of the ones I needed? Oh. Oh, I need Holstein.
Yeah, so there was an error, and my audio file got messed up halfway through the video, so I'm going to add this to the recording and try and describe what's going on as best I can. So at this point, I'm checking to see when my truce is up, and I would be able to launch my unification play to try and form the Scandinavian nation. I was checking to see if Finland, I could use Finland, and checking the diplomatic play and realize I need pan-nationalism. So I decide that I will go for pan-nationalism next time I can focus on a research. In the meantime, I'm continuing to focus on getting my rural folk interest down so that I can complete a journal entry. I have another one to complete my declared interest, so I'm going to just declare a couple interests just so I can get that one checked off as well. So, figure those two in Africa are good enough. They're not really important. My main focus at this point is to unify Scandinavia and get the achievement. So I need to increase infrastructure by railway. I have a couple trade routes that were not working right. Schleswig-Holstein, I need a port, so I need more market access, so I get a port. We got our interest declared mission completed. And I believe I decide for the expand the military mission to just build some more barracks to complete that one as well. I mostly focus in states where I already have barracks built and try to bring them up to 5. I feel like that's a good round number. So colonizing a state, we do have a colony working, so I figure I'll just work with that. I think at that point I realized I no longer needed to suppress the rural folks, so I start working on increasing my relations with them. We have secured power. That's the mission. That's where I completed that, so now I can start working with that. I did not notice that I had this diplomatic play, but it is related to a rebellion based on my colony. So I mobilize my general and send him down there to claim my territory. Completing National Guard's good. So I look at what other laws I can pass. So I stop suppressing the rural folk because I no longer need to do that. And then decide to up my home affairs to help with my revolution spread and whatnot. Hopefully it keeps my radicals in check since they're so high. Considering what to pass, going through looking at different laws, most of them aren't helpful. So, I mean, appointed bureaucrats I think is the best out of this one. Mercantilism, free trade, I'm good with mercantilism for now. We don't have any more taxation laws we could pass. Same thing with education. We could go for public health insurance, but it's not really worth it. No migration controls. So I decide presidential republic sounds like a good idea. I think this is where I take it. But then I remember that if I go presidential, I can't keep my Norway personal union. So I stopped going for that. I'm considering wealth voting, but changed my mind. Most of the laws that I can pass just aren't very useful for me, so I decide against it. I now decide I can research pan-nationalism. None of the technologies are very useful for us. I check my market prices just to see if there's anything that like I could push for, but I don't really see anything. So yeah, then I decide pan-nationalism is definitely the way to go. I can launch my unification play as soon as I get to it. There it is. Found it. It took me a minute there. So then we'll go into buildings. And I decide to upgrade my furniture workshops just to try and get my furniture, my luxury furniture demand met. Here I gamble for the extra authority, and I don't get it. Very disappointing. It would have been very useful to have a little bit more authority. My income's still fluctuating, so I think it's a good idea at this point to add another consumption tax. So I go for luxury clothes, since it's the most efficient one that I have. I consider tobacco, but then I'm like, luxury clothes is fine. So panning around, I come down to check on my war with Fang. It's going pretty good, just a little slower than I'd like. We'll take care of it in no time, though. Yeah, see, there we go, pushing through the front real fast. We now have the Radical Party. I was going to go check on it, decide not to. Then I realized I could go for one of these affairs that they want pushed through, and I decided to go for closed borders, since it will make the rural folk happier. So I start pushing through closed borders. Right about now. I was really considering the options. Radicalizing the trade unions didn't seem to matter to me because they were marginalized. But I really want to get the rural folk in check. And that's one that the people want, so I go for enacting closed borders. War with Fang's pretty much over. I'm just waiting for them to surrender at this point. And there they go. They offer peace, so I accept it, which is a full annex of them. Which is great. Grows our African holdings even more. And then I decide to make sure we are establishing another colony, and I just pick one spot to go for. And yeah, it's going to take a while because I do not have the institute or the research that lets us deal with malaria. So that's going to take a while to grow. Still looking around. We have the whistle stop tour here. I decide to go for the railway throughput. I feel like overall that's just going to be better for us. And then I do notice I still need railway infrastructure. And then I realize that it's in Schleswig-Holstein, so I build a railroad there. And now I'm just considering my options on what I should do. I wanted to go check on my truce timer to see when my truce with Denmark is up. And then I just wanted to check my other truce timer. So July 20th, 1858, which is a little over 4 years away, is when I will be able to push for that. I checked to see if I could like push for Finland, because I just wanted to get Scandinavia formed, so that was my main focus at that point. I see what alliance options I have. I have people I could form an alliance with, but none of them want to accept it that I think would be worthwhile, so I decide against that. And I just check my other diplomatic situations, defensive pacts. No one really eye-catching there either. I check for Protector. It's real fast, but yeah, I decided to go. I wanted to check to see if anyone would join my customs union, which no luck there. So we just keep moving. We check for trade agreements, and I can't get one with France, so I take the one with France. And then at this point, I get an alliance proposal from Prussia. And that is useful because Prussia is a very strong country in my area. I already have good relations with them, and they can help me with pretty much any of the big guys around. So I think that is a great get. I did miss who won the election. I don't even think I realized it at this point in the video that I had the election over. I come to check on my colony, and then I realize, oh, election, so I should reform my government. I try to add the Radical Party, but I can't because the rural folk are upset with me. I still haven't realized it. I pull out the People's Party because they're by themselves and look at that legitimacy, but I can't do it. Rural folk are angry, so I pull the Radical Party out of government. And then I re-add the People's Party, which gives me decent legitimacy, so I take it. And then I consider bolstering them, but I do not have the authority. So I am just waiting for my borders to enact, and I'm, at this point, really just waiting to be able to unify Scandinavia. So Prussia gets themselves into a war, trying to annex Lip. So I am allied to them, so I'm going to support them in the war. With Russia joining in and Austria, that's a little bit of trouble. I checked to see what their relationship with Russia is. They're a personal union, so I don't think they jump into this war, because I don't have a front on that border. I mobilize my army and send them to assist down in Austria. I was going to push for the war goal, but I don't have access to it, so I can't. So instead, I just help push Austria. I think Russia backed out at the last minute because they don't seem to be involved at all in this battle. or in this war. So just checking, we're making a good push there. We got good numbers. The Prussian military strength is very strong, so they're in pretty good shape, and us just helps out with the push. And then we're going to check our market prices. I go to build some lead mines, I believe, and some furniture shops. I'll have to build them in 3 of my African holding states. And then, yeah, I come down and build the lead mines. Bring it up to 4. Or bring it up to 5. 5's a nice round number. Go ahead and fix all of my bonuses for my buildings. Production methods and whatnot. Making sure they're what I feel is most optimal at the time. We did a really good job balancing the budget after really having some poor budget management initially in the series. I definitely understand a lot more about the budget than I did before. I decided the government expenses is worth the prestige because we really are trying to push ourselves to being a great power. Still wondering why I didn't get this yet, but I guess I didn't get enough units trained up in my barracks as yet. We take the enactment success chance, really wanting to push through that closed borders for my people because that is what they want. And yeah, I just checked the war goals, see where we're at. We are really pushing into Austria, so we're in good shape. There isn't really much they can do to stop us. Alright, there's a peace treaty from France and some holdings they have. Come down and just check on our colony. I don't see it, but then I go and check to make sure it is still colonizing and see that the colony is actually still there. So I figure, okay, that's good enough, and move on. I consider building a second one for a second, but with how long it's taking, it's not worth it. Like I said, my primary focus at this point anyway was to finish unifying Scandinavia for the achievement. So just checking my journal entry, seeing if there's anything else I can really work on in the meantime. Yeah, the earning and obligation one is kind of frustrating because you need 2 of them. And it's really hard to, like, get the computer to give you obligations. They just don't like to do it. Like, randomly you'll get them and it doesn't make sense sometimes. You're just like, why? Why'd I get one here? And then other times you get none. Plus 50% enactment success chance. I end up going for the 10% one though, because it messes around with the control of the government a little bit. With the power of the power of my various groups in my government. I consider annexing Dahomey, but ultimately I don't think it's worthwhile. I could push for it, but I decide against it. I think it's just better to keep them. Look at what subject I can transfer and realize Liberia is not really worth it. Same thing with Liberate. It's Liberia again, so I don't care. And I move on. So we did improve our rank at that point, so we are now a great power, which is very good news for us. It gives us some extra interests, which I immediately go and declare, just for some other regions in Africa. Not that I really necessarily need to push for them, but just because, just spreading my interest around the world. Our military is finally almost at the 60 that we're looking for. This, I was confused because it brought up the Junkers, and then I realized it was messing with Prussia's government, and was like, well, why would I risk deteriorating my relations with Prussia? And I decided to skip that. Our main focus at this point is Holstein, so that we can form Scandinavia. I checked to see if I could start a war with Russia over Finland, and it's not even giving me an option, so I'm not sure why at that moment. And I continue looking around at what else I can do, waiting until the truce with Denmark is up. I go to double check it. I checked to see if Lübeck is part of Holstein and realized it's not, so I'm like, alright, that's fine. And yeah, just continue to wait and let time pass by until I can go for my unification play. I realize clothes are actually really expensive, and then realize my bureaucracy is not well. So I believe I go and build some more government administrations. I check the standardized filing system first to see if that's enough, and it's not. So then I build them in a couple more states that have some peasant population left. Now that we have pan-nationalism, we are in good shape. I think I just decide, yeah, steel frame buildings just seems like a good idea to me. It's already researching, so it'll get finished faster. And I feel like that'll be helpful for our construction. And then I am just kind of looking around, considering, checking my truce timer again, just to make sure I'm aware of where it's at. We have less than a year before it is up, and we can declare our war. Here I realize the launch unification play button is okay, so I decide, why not click it and see what happens? And then I also comment that it is giving the diplomatic incident in Niger because that's where Denmark's capital is, and realize that that infamy hit is not actually going to be that bad at all. So I decide to declare the war. So then I speed through the diplomatic play, mobilize my general, set him to push on this front first. Prussia will join, which is good. And funnily enough, I just let time go by, and I'm not really paying attention to my diplomatic play. And yeah, right there. Oh, it actually happened that late is when Austria joined. So I decide to try to get France to join, and I decide to go with an obligation. But it doesn't give me enough time. It just times out. So I'm actually in a pretty bad spot there. Here I just take whatever. I feel like the game's almost over, so nothing really matters. My only push is to unify Scandinavia at this point. So war breaks out, and we look to be in alright shape, and my hope is that Prussia will actually make the main push while I keep these troops distracted. But Prussia will actually be in some trouble because they're going to have Austria pushing on their other border. We completed another journal entry, which was good for us. We do a nice push, but then the pushback happens. I consider recruiting another general, but opt not to eventually. Feeling that it'll happen in good time. I also consider moving my main point of attack, but decide being here is probably the best, just to hold their troops off. I am not aware at this point that Denmark was going to capitulate because I had occupied them. So I realize I have all of Sweden, but not all of Scandinavia. So then I click the Scandinavia button, and we form Scandinavia with the countries that we control. And then there we go. There's the achievement. All done. So that's enough for this video. If you liked the video, I'd appreciate a like. If you really liked that video, I'd appreciate a subscription. I think this is the end of the series. I will start a new Victoria 3 series soon. And hopefully my experience helps out in the long term. So if you enjoyed it, I really hope to see you in that next one. And if you really like this kind of content, I have EU4 content, daily uploads. So I would appreciate if you would watch those. So thank you very much. Goodbye.